It's another edition of the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast. It is weather for Weather Geeks, the final Weather Geeks of the month of September. During football season, I oftentimes don't do a Weather Geeks video on Friday, and I think that'll be the case this week as well, with quiet weather expected for the upcoming weekend. We'll skip Weather Geeks Friday. I'll be back on Monday. Hard to believe that Monday is the first day of October. In the meantime, today was kind of an October-like day, kind of an October preview, a few days early. It was cooler than average throughout all of Ohio, all of Pennsylvania, except for the very eastern part of the Keystone State. Yeah, a pretty cool day region-wide today. We had 64 this afternoon. Our average high on this date is 68 degrees, so about 4 degrees shy of that today. All right, a little bit of a change in the forecast for this evening compared to last evening when I was looking ahead to today. The models converged overnight on an idea that a little bit of moisture would try to stream northward, well north of a front this evening, but the air is so dry below the clouds in the lowest few thousand feet of the atmosphere. We're seeing a lot of virga out there this evening. Precipitation evaporating before it reaches the ground. A couple of sprinkles, some light rain. Yeah, that's going to be a possibility for this evening. I don't think it's going to be much, and overall pretty non-impactful. Some light rain as of 7:07, streaming from Canton back through New Philly and back towards the Cambridge area. This is legit light rain. It'll track through this evening, and a couple hundredths of an inch worth of rain. That should about do it. This is all because of a wave of low pressure that formed along our old stalled front. This is the front that came through yesterday and caused our temperatures and dew points to drop. Well, it's settled far enough to the south that we were dry last night, dry this morning, but this little pesky wave of low pressure came far enough north today to cause the moisture to come a little bit farther to the north, and therefore, yeah, a little bit of rain trying to fall out there this evening. Our front is still pretty easily identifiable on the surface map. When you look at the dew points, we'll draw kind of a stationary boundary, kind of like right here. South of that front, still firmly in a midsummer air mass in places like Charlotte and Raleigh, but north of the front, yeah, definitely more autumnal. No surprise, our high-res futurecast is kind of overdoing the intensity of that rain out there this evening. This just looks overcooked. Sometimes our high-res model does that, but nonetheless, any late rain should be out of here by midnight or so at the latest. Sky will try to clear later on tonight. Now, if the sky clears enough, we may be a little bit concerned about some fog as Friday gets underway. Our model here showing local visibilities down near zero. That's probably overdone. Oftentimes, this model also overdoes the fog. But some patches of fog, yeah, that's going to be a possibility for your Friday morning. Fog lifts out. Should be a real nice Friday coming up tomorrow. Definitely sunnier than today. It'll be a great evening for high school football. Next front comes through dry tomorrow night. We're back to some sunshine for Saturday. Maybe a little bit cloudier on Sunday, but also a little bit warmer as we wrap up the weekend. So no severe weather to concern ourselves with for high school football this week. 63 at kickoff and about 57 by the end of our local games tomorrow evening. Nice, mostly clear sky overhead. Here's the weekend forecast. I'll get out of the way here. 64 Saturday. Definitely kind of a reinforcing shot of cooler air behind that front for the start of the weekend. By Sunday, we're back up above average by a couple of degrees, 70 degrees Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds. So yeah, nice weekend, nice way to wrap up September and head into October. And speaking of heading into October, dew points will be elevated for the season, certainly, by Monday and especially by Tuesday and Wednesday. Dew points in the mid-60s in early October, that's pretty darn muggy. Now, if it was mid-July, we wouldn't think this was a big deal at all, but yeah, mid-60s in early July for dew points, for October, I should say. That's pretty muggy stuff. All right, I told you I would talk about the October forecast on this evening's Weather for Weather Geeks video. This is the official Climate Prediction Center forecast for the month of October, showing generally equal chances of a cooler than average month and a warmer than average month in our vicinity. High odds of warmer than average along the west coast and down in the southeast, and some decent odds of a cooler than average month in the nation's heartland. Now, this forecast is 5 or 6 days old at this point. They'll probably put out an update tomorrow. I kind of suspect that what you're going to see with the CPC update will be an extension westward of the warm anomalies like this. These cool anomalies may be kicked more up like this, and the warmth will be trimmed a little bit in the Rocky Mountain states. And I say that because there's been a trend in the modeling over the last week, certainly, of a warmer and warmer first half of October, maybe tilting the balance for the entire month towards warmer than average yet again in our vicinity. This is the Weather Service or CPC outlook for precipitation for the month of October, showing pretty decent odds of wetter than average along the east coast and in the southeast, and pretty equal chances of wetter than average and drier than average here locally. I also kind of suspect with the update from the government you'll see this come west a little bit. So maybe another little somewhat wetter than average month coming up in October. Here's a look at the latest long-range modeling from our homegrown models here in the U.S. This is not the European. This is we call it the Climate Forecast System model for October, showing kind of what I just talked about. Warmer than average seems pretty likely east of the Mississippi. The cool anomalies may be shunted up towards Montana and the Dakotas. I'm going to make a map, a hand-drawn map this evening after I look at the latest European modeling this evening for my official October forecast, and I suspect it'll kind of look like this map. It'll look more like this map than that government forecast I just showed you a second ago. So I think odds are starting to tilt in the favor of yet another warmer than average month in October, based mostly on what will happen in the first half of the month. Lower confidence about the second half of the month, but the first half of the month looking pretty warm yet again. What else is new? It's been like this since May. Again, all this is, of course, compared to average. It's supposed to be warm from May through September, but warmer than average is what we've been talking about for a few months in a row now. All right, that's it for tonight's weather for Weather Geeks. Look for that October forecast before the evening's through on my social media outlets. If you miss it on social media, I'll do it tomorrow evening, Friday evening on 21 News at 6 o'clock. Hope you have a great Thursday night.